You're listening to Entrepreneur's Enigma, a podcast about the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey. Every week, your host Seth Goldstein interviews entrepreneurs from all walks of life about their entrepreneurial journeys. From store owners to Fortune 500 CEOs, we all have stories to tell. So sit back and join us for the next 20 or so minutes while we explore the entrepreneurial world.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneur's Enigma podcast. I am your host, as always, Seth, with Goldstein Media and Podcast Mastery. Today I have a good buddy of mine, Shane Hicks, who is a graduate of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. He is a veteran. Early in his military career, he took a blow to the head in hand-to-hand combat training that resulted in 2 torn retinas. Oh my God. And a concussion, traumatic brain injury, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. After 3 surgeries, Shane was unexpectedly medically separated. And that's such a technical term too. It's just like, it's so not personal. Oh. Medically separated, had to fight for disability benefits. That's ridiculous. He then struggled to build a business within his residual capacity while finding employment opportunities for his formerly unemployed military spouse. Together, they learned the power of relationships and networking. So there's a power of networking there and schmoozing and all that good stuff. Over the past 10 years, Shane and his wife have helped coach numerous startups and established businesses to grow their businesses. Reboot VA was established to provide veterans and their families with resources they need to grow their own businesses, just like Shane and his wife they had to do 25 years ago. So Shane's right between Austin and San Antonio. So he's between kind of 2 different kind of epicenters of the different kinds of entrepreneurship. Mom and pop shops and the weird startup scene. And it's weird because Austin's just weird.
I always say that New Braunfels, Texas was the perfect place to end up, right? Yeah. Because when I want crazy city, I can hit I-35 and head to Austin.
Yeah.
When I want lazy city, I can hit 35 and go down to San Antonio.
It's perfect.
And when we're tired of city, we come back to New Braunfels and we've got green right in the backyard where there's all kinds of live music and everything. And the tax base in New Braunfels is far better than Austin or San Antonio.
Well, you're the best of both worlds, which is awesome. It's like I think you're equally distant from each one too. Like you're literally dead center, which is awesome. So we were talking right before this that like a lot of what happened in the military could have possibly been averted if they had just opened their ears and listened.
Yeah. So the story there is I was put in a ring with a guy that was 6'4", outweighed me by a good 50, 60 pounds. And to say that he hit hard would be an understatement.
Well, let's see. You resulted in two torn retinas. I mean,
yeah. So what happened was we were fighting.
Yeah.
And he punched me through my guard. I hit myself on the button. And I saw stars and black. And I remember thinking, wow, this is what it feels like to get knocked out. However, it was a flat knockout. So my eyes opened back up.
Okay.
And I went back in and boom, 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 boom. And the round ended.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, I started seeing floaters.
Oh.
Then I started having nightmares.
Well, I really don't blame you for having nightmares. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, the guy 6'4", like, you know, twice your size coming at you and like knocking clocking you. That'll give you nightmares.
I started having headaches. I started being nauseous. I started to lose the ability to concentrate. Like there was one point.
Concussion. Look, I'm not a doctor. That screams concussion.
Yep.
And if a guy makes you see stars,
yep,
it's probably a concussion.
But
yeah,
TBI and concussion protocol were not things back then.
25 years ago, you're right.
And when I went in and complained, now again, I'm a 17, 18-year-old kid. I didn't know what I was describing to them, but I described all of those things.
And now you look back at the checklist, you're like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, exactly.
Well, so as I've been working with veteran service officers recently to go over veteran files and things like that, I was actually testing one of my VSOs, and I gave him access to my file.
Yeah.
And he said, "Why have you actually never gotten a VA rating on traumatic brain injury?" And I said, "Well, I didn't even know what that was." And he brought up
especially back then. Yeah.
He brought up a website that showed the physical and psychological symptoms of TBI. I had all but 3.
Oh my God. And I think you need all but 3, dude. Like, you need like it's, and this checklists are kind of arbitrary. Like, I know my wife has fibromyalgia. She used to have a 6 out of 12. And it's like, really? You can have 2, and if you can have it. Yeah.
But as the story goes,
Yeah.
I went and I told them multiple times what was going on. And at one point, they said, "You're a malingerer, trying to get benefits and trying to get an education and not serve." And I said, "That is not the case at all.
You want to feel better so you can serve."
And then at another point, they said that it was not in the line of duty, and
it was
tried.
getting ready for the line of duty. Damn it!
So again, that was where the legal battle started. So the injury occurred in 1991.
Okay.
And I told them what was going on. Oh, at one point too, when I was talking about the nightmares and the mood shifts and my lack of being able to concentrate, I went to one doctor and he said, "You're an officer. None of this is happening. Don't come back."
Oh my God.
Because again, at the time, mental health and those things that I was talking about were career enders.
Well, yeah.
So they were telling me they weren't going to document it and they weren't going to address it because it wasn't a thing.
Oh my God. And then this is rampant in the military, but this is also rampant in life back then.
Yeah, it certainly was back then.
Yeah, back then. Now it's like it's kind of flipped on its head a whole 180. I mean, the NFL has a protocol now because because talk about getting hit. I mean, you're having a quarterback who's what, 6'4", 220 pounds, getting hit by a linebacker that's like 400 pounds and twice his size. I mean, like, you saw stars. I mean, and they had more, and then they had more gear too.
Yeah, and what ended up happening was, by the time they admitted it, right? So what happened was, I was actually deployed to Bosnia
with all this,
and I was the colonel's secret document courier.
Oh, geez.
And so I got on an airplane, and I was going from Bosnia back to Germany, where I was supposed to drop off these documents. I was allowed to go see my wife, stay a day, and then I was getting back on the plane to go back to Bosnia.
Yeah.
Well, as the plane went up and the plane came down, I started seeing this black curtain go across my eye.
Oh,
well,
no.
That was the point where they were tearing significantly. Now, what had happened between 91 and 1998?
Oh my God! Whoa. Hold on another second there. So you had torn retina for? Oh my God!
Yeah. So what happened was they were perforations.
Yeah.
And inside your eye, there's this fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The fluid was spewing through these holes for 7 years.
That can't be good.
And then what it did was it stacked up on the retina, and once it got too heavy, they tore.
Yeah.
Well, they tore on
thin. Yeah.
Right?
And pressure and all that stuff. Yeah.
So 1998, I land in Germany. My eyes are really messed up. my wife tells me to go to the doctor.
Oh, geez.
And I said, look, I've got less than 24 hours. I'm not going to the doctor. They're just going to tell me there's nothing wrong anyway. But commander-in-chief household, Sync household, when your wife tells you to do something, you say, yes, ma'am, and you go do it.
Yeah. You
So I went to the doctor. He again said, well, I don't see anything. And I said, yes, sir. And I got up and started to leave. And he goes, oh, wait, let me look at one more thing. So he sits me in the chair, tilts me back, puts this big headlight on his head, takes this magnifying glass, looks down in my eye, and I am quoting my doctor.
Oh, wow.
He goes, oh, shit. The next thing I know, I'm on a medevac from Baumholder Regional to Lawnstool. That doctor says the same thing. Now I'm on a plane across to Walter Reed. They have emergency surgery that night. I wake up the next day. I can't see out of my eyes. And the
you all
colonel
bandaged up, yeah.
that did my surgery comes in and tells me how lucky I am.
Lucky you are. You're lucky? You're
and I said, so please tell me, how's this lucky? And he said, well, by the time you got to me, you were 75% detached.
Oh, my God.
If you would have been 1 hour later,
oh my God,
you would have been 100% blind for the rest of your life. I saved your sight. Congratulations.
So how are your eyes now? Are they like?
Oh, they're jacked.
Oh, they're messed up.
Yeah.
So
what
they
did,
saved your sight.
What they did was unrepairable. So,
oh,
to their credit, I have good center vision. Now I'm technically legally blind,
yeah, because
right?
you can't see at the sides.
But I have no periphery.
Oh, so you're tunnel visioned. Oh my God.
Right. So I see good straight ahead with correction. Now I recently had surgery number 16.
Oh, geez.
And 2 surgeries ago, they had to do lens replacement because the trauma that my eyes have suffered caused cataracts.
Oh, geez.
And so
did it help?
2 surgeries ago, they had to remove my physical lens from my right eye, and they put in a permanent lens. So now I have fixed vision with this eye.
Okay.
I still have changing with this.
Okay.
And I can't see anything until about here.
Oh my God.
Camera, but my peripheral on my sides, I don't see.
When you're driving, you have to physically turn your
head.
I
can't see cars.
Ugh.
So my driving, while not legally restricted, is exceptionally restricted.
So you're driving carefully.
Yes.
You're like, because, when you're in the car and all that.
My wife generally drives.
Yeah.
Most places that we go.
Smart.
I drive as needed.
Yeah. Like if she's tired and I need a break for an hour, fine. But that hour, I'm sure, is extremely stressful. So all right. So you got out of the military. Oi. That's what I'm say to that is oi. Amongst other, questionable terms I wanted to say right now, but we're going to keep it as not explicit as possible. And so you got out. You had to fight for the disability benefits.
Yeah, so we fought for 1.5 years. What happened again was they first told me that it was not in the line of duty, so they were going to separate me instead of giving me medical retirement. So fortunately, West Point is different than other commissioning sources.
Okay.
So on the first day at West Point, you take the oath of office and you are active duty.
Oh, nice.
The injury happened 2 months after I took the oath of office.
So you were active duty.
So they tried to say I wasn't active duty, but I had a green leave and earning statement that I had saved from the date that I was commissioned.
Save your documents, everybody.
And I took that to the medical board and I said, tell me I wasn't in the line of duty. And they were like, yeah, okay, you were. So then they put me on the temporary retirement list.
And they're going to take you back. Like, come on.
And they said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to temporarily put you on the retirement list for 1 year. We're going to schedule medical appointments for you during that time to prove you have
what you
what's
have.
been
Yeah.
said.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss any of these medical appointments,
Oh, geez.
then we will look at that as you're not invested in your retirement and
Oh.
we'll separate you.
Oh, geez.
Then for the next year and a half, they scheduled appointments at Brooke Army Medical on one side of San Antonio and appointments on the other side of San Antonio within 15 minutes of each other.
Oh,
There was no physical way
no.
of getting from one appointment to the other.
Oof.
However, being the relationship type person that I am,
Yeah.
I made friends with the receptionists at every doctor's office.
Oh, and so they kind of.
And I showed them the schedule. And I said, look, as soon as I finish up at Fort Sam Houston, I will drive as fast as I can over to your location. But as you can see, doctors don't always see you on time.
Yeah.
They don't always let you out on time. But I will be here. Just please give me some grace. Well,
And they
within
did
that
do
year and a
that.
half, there was only one appointment that they
Wow.
didn't let me make. But it wasn't on the part of the medical board. They were intentionally setting me up.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Oh my! Did you read a book about this yet? You should read a book about this. This is a book. I'm sure they wouldn't want the book to come out. That's true. So, yeah. Anyhow, so now you're out of the military, and now you are retired. You did get to keep the retirement, and now you're permanently retired. All that stuff. 25 years later, which is good. Thank God. You had to fight for it. So now you help other veterans and people who leave the military and their spouses and their families figure out how to do the entrepreneurial thing. We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
Yeah, because here's what happened with us. When I got out, there were plenty of nonprofits that would look over your medical records and help you file disability with the VA. I didn't need that.
No.
There were plenty that would say, oh, you've been diagnosed with migraines, you've been diagnosed with bipolar, you've been diagnosed with PTSD. Well, we have resources to help you get medical. I didn't need that.
You needed a job.
There were plenty that would also say, you're a West Point grad, you've got a master's degree in IT project management, you've handled $3 million budgets. You need to go work for Lockheed. You need to go work for Boeing. You need to go work for a blood-sucking contractor.
Exactly.
Well, here's the deal. I am 100% total and permanent with PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
I have great days.
You have bad days.
And I have not so great days. And on those not so great days, the way that I would speak to an employer is not something that they would be able to comprehend nor tolerate.
No.
So I couldn't go get a job.
And the good thing is you knew about that about yourself, which is, I mean, well, God bless you for knowing that and saying, look, this is me. I'm living with this. You got to figure something out.
So
Wow.
there were no nonprofits or support systems at the time that would teach veterans who had to be entrepreneurial. Either they couldn't work for someone else or they were at a point where they didn't want to work for someone else. There were no
nothing wrong with
resources
not wanting to work for someone else
that would teach you how to launch a business and how to network properly to grow that business. Nothing.
Absolutely.
So I had to figure that out all on my own.
So now you're just saving grace for so many others that now don't have to do that.
That's right. So
That's
I founded
awesome.
our nonprofit
Reboot
with
VA.
the goal of helping veterans and their families transitioning from the military build their businesses through proper networking.
Love it. That's fantastic.
And we did that by launching. We basically have 3 phases to our program. The first one is called Boots to Business.
Oh, I like that.
We got an agreement with the Department of Defense, the Small Business Administration, and the Texas Veterans Commission. And there is a 2-day course available to all transitioning military and their significant others. We teach it for free. So we don't have some contract where they're paying us. We do it totally for free.
Wow.
And in those 2 days, they learn business formation, right? Business fundamentals,
Yeah.
accounting, insurance, and legal.
And those are those are very important things. Those are the base of any business.
Correct.
And
Then
in
once
2
they
days,
finish
wow.
that,
Jeez.
they are allowed to work through an alignment we have with the Leadership Transition Institute. And there is a 3-day, and it's like life coaching
Yeah.
with a business transition focus to it. So
Ooh.
you learn I am statements, you learn the laws of attraction,
Yeah.
you learn mantras, you learn, we do some audio or frequency therapy,
Yeah.
432 hertz. Like we teach all of that stuff because I am a
3
firm
days.
believer
Wow. Yeah.
that if you don't have the energy and the health yourself
Mm-hmm.
to pour into other people's businesses,
Mm-hmm.
your business will never succeed.
No.
So once they complete those 5 days,
Yeah.
they are then given the opportunity to plug in to the network that I've put together over the past 25 years. And so we
That's still
work
5 days. It's an intensive 5 days.
Oh,
I mean, but they're also military, so they're used to intense.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm looking at it as a civilian. I'm like, jeez.
Well,
you're
but
looking
let me
at
ask
it-
you this.
Yeah.
If you don't have some tenacity, are you going to be an entrepreneur? Is your business going to be around more than 5 years?
No, you need to have
Nope.
some tenacity. Yeah.
So you need to be able to prove that you're ready to go through the basic training of
Exactly.
owning a business and running a business. And if
Yeah.
you can't make it through those 5 days, you know what? Entrepreneurship probably isn't for you.
Yeah.
And you might want to go look at the other programs that let you get a job or let you go
Yeah.
work for someone else. Because you
Mhm.
got to know if you've got the mettle to step up and make it happen. And going through those 5 days, good way of doing it.
It's basic training for entrepreneurship. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And then we work with multiple organizations on the entry level. If I'm working with veterans that
Yeah.
are severely underfunded in their business, we
Yeah.
start out on a platform called alignable.com.
Yes,
They
I
have
love
a
Alignable.
free membership. There are a lot of baby businesses on alignable.com. So it's a great way for baby businesses to get together and learn how to network properly. Learn that when you
Yes.
meet with someone for the first time, you don't try to sell them your product or service right from the bat. You
Yeah.
build a relationship because you don't want to sell to the people in your network. You want
Yeah.
to sell through the people in your network.
It's all about the referrals too, because
Yeah.
literally, I mean, it's the thing with BNI, which I know you did BNI and all that stuff. And the whole idea of BNI is givers gain. The whole idea, and as much as I'm not the biggest fan of BNI anymore, but I've been through it. To me, I think it's a little bit of a cult. But that's besides. All these things are kind of a little cultish. But but the idea is you can tell the person right in front of you, great, that's one deal. Yeah, all right, whoa. But then if they refer you, that one deal turned into 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more deals. And if people like you, they're going to refer you. It's
And
like
I'm
you, refer
I'm
you.
not sour on any of it. Every
Yeah.
networking organization has their issues.
Oh, yeah.
But here's how I stair set people up. Okay. Which is if you're a brand new business and you have no clue and you have trouble speaking in front of groups or you
Mhm.
have trouble presenting yourself, start out on Alignable. They're very
Perfect.
forgiving.
Oh, they're very forgiving.
Then
I'm very big on Unavoidable too, and I love it because they work with you. If
Mhm.
you screw up, I think that the rule is if you screw up 3 times, they don't kick you off the platform. They bring you into the kind of remediation, saying, "Here's what we heard, what's going on," and they work with you. It's fantastic. I love.
they're all
Unavoidable.
good.
They're all
And
good.
then
Yeah.
BNI
Yeah.
is a great fit if your focus is more business to consumer
Yeah.
and you are young enough that you need accountability and handholding. You need
Yes.
someone to make you show up to a meeting. You need someone to track the number of referrals that you give and receive. You need
Yes.
someone to tell you what to do to
Mhm.
network properly.
Yes.
That's a good
very
fit
true.
for BNI.
Yeah.
However, when you're grown and you don't need someone
It's a little
to do that
overbearing.
all
Yeah.
the time, the next group that we work with is called Network in Action.
Oh, I've heard of them. They're
NIA.
great. Yeah. Yeah.
Price tag's a little bit higher, but it's more of a business owner mastermind group where you meet once a month and you do a mastermind about what problems have we gone through this
I love
month?
that.
How do we make our businesses better? And then
Yeah.
you spend the month actually implementing what you did in your mastermind. So it's not an adult babysitting service, right?
Love it. Love it.
So
Adult
that's when
babysitting
that
service.
goes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we don't do a lot with it because I don't really participate or track into the next level. But,
Okay.
there are
There's
C-level
yeah.
networking groups, and I do have some connections with some of those if the situation arises
Yeah.
where, they pay multiple thousands and thousands of dollars to the point where when they have their meeting, they're at secret locations in secret places where they have, top-notch, top-shelf, big part, like that kind of
Level.
network.
But you have to work way up to that. I don't think
Yes.
I'm even at that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Woo-wee.
But those are C-levels. But
Those are
I have,
C-levels,
I
yeah.
even have resources now at this point in
That's
what I've been
awesome.
doing that I can connect people with C-level.
That's awesome. So, all right. So now to the three questions of the podcast. In your mind, because all you've been through, what's the best thing about being an entrepreneur in your mind?
Time freedom.
Love it.
So here's what I get asked a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I've only been able to get there the past couple of years, right? Is people would ask me, hey, what are your work hours? And I say, well, technically, I like to say that my work hours are 3 p.m. to about 8:30 p.m.
Mhm.
Monday through Friday. Now, I help businesses
Mhm.
from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
However, my life after 3 is the 10-year-old love of my life, which is my daughter. You
And
see,
that's work, and that's definitely work life.
I pick her up from the bus
Oh, I love
at
it.
3 o'clock
Yeah.
every day.
Oh, I love
We
it.
come home. I make sure she's fed. I make sure her homework is done. And I make sure anything else that she's got, like memorization for church or anything like that gets done. Then at 5 o'clock,
The extracurricular activities.
we start activities. So Mondays, she starts with mixed martial arts.
Good.
And then we go to soccer practice. So
Oh,
it's 2
geez.
practices. Now, I do have to say, and as you recall, I was injured in hand-to-hand combat training.
Yes, you're protective. Yeah.
Well, Daddy used to like to fight.
Oh.
So my daughter has been rolling on a mat in a full regulation UFC cage since she was 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
She got her junior level black belt at 7.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Um,
Papa. I love
She
this.
she was recently testing for her gray belt in her current progression. And at the end, she had to spar twice. She caught the first boy in a rear naked choke and was putting him to sleep. She caught the second one in the most beautiful, tight armbar I have
Wow.
ever seen.
Now, if you're watching the video, Shane's
No, I'm
face
saying-
is gone. No, it's gone from straight face to the biggest grin you'll ever see. This is a proud Papa here. This is a proud Papa.
So she's got this kid in an armbar, and she's been trained, wait for the tack,
Yeah.
or look at the instructor, and the instructor will tell you when to break.
Yeah, let the kid
Well,
out. Yeah.
The kid wasn't tapping, and the instructor was new and wasn't calling the break.
Oh,
So
no.
Dad from the sideline yelled out, "Loosen up, baby girl. They're not tapping." And she let go.
Oh.
And at the end of the session, the owner of the studio came over to me and he goes, "Brother, I heard you from clear across the dojo. Thank you. That instructor is new. You saved that arm today."
Yeah.
So there's that, right? Then she just elevated to the gold competition gymnastics team.
Oh, geez.
So-
she's 10.
Tuesdays are 2-a-days and Thursdays are 2-a-days, right? So 2 hours. Then Wednesdays, I take her to Awana's at church
Yeah.
and we do that. Fridays are generally what she and I like to call Friday free day. We don't have an
geez.
activity that day. However, occasionally Mom puts us in tennis lessons or something like
Yeah.
that. Saturdays are games.
Yeah.
Then Sundays, we get up, we go to church, I take her to lunch, and then we go to volleyball practice.
Oh, geez. And when do
So-
you sleep?
So that is
It's structured that
where
way.
I want to be full time.
Yes, I love that.
So what I have to do with the nonprofit is what every commander should always do is I delegate.
Yes.
So I have one of our guys that teaches all of the boots to business classes.
Yes, it's
He
not
teaches.
on you. Yeah, it's not on you.
We've outsourced the life coaching. We used to have it in-house, but we had some difficulties with licensing and things like that.
Yeah.
And so now we've outsourced that to the Leadership Transition Institute.
Yeah.
So they teach that.
So you're
and
able to do
then
all this
In
for the kid,
Alignable,
Yeah.
I just brought in a second ambassador,
Mhm.
and I have 4 moderators. They manage what we do with the with Alignable and things like that. So I've always viewed
Yes.
my nonprofit and how we've set it up as, in Army terms, the battalion command
Yeah.
that I never had. So I look at myself as the full bird colonel at the top.
Yeah.
And then each of our lines of business, I have a lieutenant colonel that's in charge of those, and they're responsible to me for everything that does or does not happen within those lines of business. And that lets them be very, very focused in what their skills are and what they're good at. One of the things that I always work to do is identify the skills of those that are aligning with me, and I utilize their skills to the best of their ability
I love
and
this.
assign people tasks in the skills that they're good at. They thrive and they want to do more.
Love it.
So that's why I want to be entrepreneurial, because it gives me that level of command and control of what we're doing and how we're doing it. And it also allows me to be where I actually need to be, which is with my kid.
And wanna be. That's like, it's a baby. She's not a baby, she's 10. One tough 10-year-old. Proud papa. Now, what keeps you up at night? I mean, as an entrepreneur, I'm sure a lot of things keep you up at night, but like,
Honestly,
not much anymore.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
what keeps me up is the funding. Because for some reason, a lot of times when I speak with people, they think a nonprofit is just free and that there shouldn't be money coming in and that it's not for profit. So you don't need money. You just donate everything. Well, you know what? The websites and the SEO and the gas it takes and the food that it takes and sponsoring meetings and things like that actually
Costs
takes
money.
a little bit of money. And a lot of months I'm going to my wife and saying, well, this is another month that we're going to have to come out of our personal pocket to keep the website up. We're going to have to come out of pocket again to pay for the coffee or pay for the donuts or pay for the meeting this month. We just didn't bring in enough. So that's what, if anything keeps me up, it's that.
Absolutely. And finally, what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time? I've
One
had all
way
kinds.
would be, if you make it your goal in life to take care of other people, your stuff takes care of itself. And that's the philosophy that I've operated on for at least the past 15 years. Took me a little bit to learn that, right? But
It's an entrepreneurial journey. You have to learn.
I have everything today because of what I invested in others first. And that's what keeps me going, is I just realize, everything happens for a reason, right? That's another thing too, is I believe that everything that's happened was either a lesson God needed me to learn myself, or it was a trial that I could survive and make it through that someone else couldn't.
Yeah.
And by me having gone through that and then sharing my experiences and how they can avoid that for them, they're going to make it.
Love it.
That's
man.
why I do what I do.
I love it, man. I love it. Shane, this has been so much fun. I'm so glad to get you on the show. And everyone check out rebootva.org. Give where you can. This is a great organization. Connect with Shane on Alignable. Check out Alignable. I mean, I love Alignable. That's where we met, is on Alignable. And we'll see everyone next week.
That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneur's Enigma, please consider giving us a review in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps us reach new listeners. If you like Entrepreneur's Enigma, consider the other shows on the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcast.net.